Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome in. Let me get this set up. So, this is Unreal. It's the first time I have really opened it up and poked around in it. Well, it's not the first time I've poked around in it. This is the first time I've streamed it, which I'm excited to do. We have a legend here. Diamond Surge is here. Welcome in. I don't have my applause button ready, but we're plugging it in now. But thank you for joining Diamond Surge. How are you doing today? So I'll show off the game first. I followed a tutorial. It's in the description. So the tutorial's done mostly. I didn't do the whole thing. I did the whole thing in version 4, and I decided to go to version 5 of Unreal. So I'm basically porting it to a new version. So this is the game. We'll open it up. Can we do full screen? I don't know. No, but that's okay. Hey, Emilio, Trimby. Wow, all the legends are here. And let me get that working here. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. So let's see how it goes. We'll go ahead and start the game. I just build a couple of menus. Of course, I die immediately. Oh my gosh. Okay. So you can walk up on the cars. You can jump. There's a little bit of air control. You can jump over some stuff. That noise is too loud. We built some turns into it, but it's basically just the tutorial. He had ups and downs as well built into the tutorial. It was by Unreal. Let me look at their name. It was at Unreal. We'll have to pause there so that I can look it up. It's in the description again, but I like to be solid on it. So it's at Unreal Engine. Very cool tutorial. It was pretty easy to follow. Basically, we made the third-person character. This was the base third-person character that they gave us. We added in this death thing at the bottom. We'll scroll in and you can kind of look at it. Though we're not going to go through it too much. It basically does an explosion, plays a sound. We have a invisibility of the character. This I added. Deposit coins on death. It was a little tricky getting the coins to save. It turns out if you use multiple maps, you cannot just save a variable. You have to use a game instance. So deposit coins on death, if we look at it, it's a mess. I know, and I'm sorry. We could try to clean it up just a little bit. But in general, it's taking your coins, adding it to the total coin, which is a game instance variable. So it's just moving the variable. And that way it saves it through the level. So when we go back to the game, we'll load it one more time and look at it. Up here you have 0 coins. If we play for just a second, we manage to get a coin. You can see there's 2 saves, 2 numbers there. That's interesting. It gave us extra coins. So there's an issue. We only had 4 coins, and right there when we died, it suddenly doubled it. So I've got to look at the code. In any case, that's one of the things we'll be doing today, it looks like. And it is a mess. We'll clean it up, we'll make it nice, and then figure out exactly what went wrong with it. Yeah, it is hard to clean up a little bit. I'm doing the same thing 3 times. I'm doing coins, blocks, and tiles. The blocks are the items in the level. They're pretty cool too. They're all custom made. We'll go ahead and look at those two for a second. I love that we're able to do a quick sneak peek of all this. Trimby says, you're too kind. Ah, cool. Diamond Surge says, this is my first time seeing Unreal at all. Thank you for sharing. I'm glad you stopped in to check out Unreal. Thank you for stopping in. So where was I looking at? So this is the level I created. This is and the levels are blank. There's nothing in them. We are doing an infinite runner. This part I thought was really cool. So this is the tile. It's basically the only tile. We're going to plug it in up here so we can see it. If I move something, let me get up close here. If I grab this thing and move it around, you'll see all of the items move in the level. And that's because they're being randomly spawned, and it's just showing where they are now. It's not easy to see their spawn points, but we can highlight them through the menu like so. And I can move it around and that will move all the items into level 2 according to that spawn point. So everything's all set up on the same spawn points. Changing them to their own spawn points is something we need to do today. So that is something that I want to tackle as well. This is the primary tile. Basically, it draws this out a whole bunch of times, and then it adds in the corners as necessary. So here's what it looks like. I have the spawn points set. I kind of highlighted them before, but we'll look at it closer. So this is just the spawn point. It's invisible, but the item, of course, is not invisible when it spawns on it. So we take that spawn point, we come over here, and we add on component overlap, or whatever item you want to use. In this case, I believe what I actually did is I dragged it into the menu. So I went like this. And that way I was able to call it and say, hey, we want to take their location, and we save it into a big box. So the car spawns on only these points, and on these first 4 points, we have the other blocks. So the car and the blocks shouldn't overlap, but in some cases the points are close together. Kind of excited about it. This is the base set of the spawn points, and I've done the same things for all of them. Right? It's just repeating the same thing over and over so far, which we want to kind of make them different, but for now that's what it is. We have our spawn blocker 2 and a spawn block. You can see they're basically the same. Pretty close to the same. So here's how it works. When it calls this, it's a function. It'll go into the game instance, which is that way to save things beyond the map, so that you can save things into multiple levels. And we're saying, do you have the book? This game is going to be about the books of power. You're going to collect books and they'll give you powers. The first one was going to be air. It'll magnet coins to you, I believe. There's also going to be one for each element and spirit, which is going to be pretty cool. I haven't got through all of them yet, but that's basically the idea. So it checks for this first book. We're going to move on. It goes to the character. And that's a lot of what the tutorial did. We were looking at that at the beginning. And in the character, it's going to check for tiles. And this is a variable I created. I just wanted to know how many tiles we're at. If it's under 5, it's going to spawn the car. If it's over 5, or if it's, if that's true, less than 5, it won't spawn the car. So the car won't spawn in the first 5 blocks, was the idea. And you get to create cool little ideas to get around issues like that, because I didn't want the car to spawn right away. I do need to fix the coins, so maybe we'll take a quick look at that. Just wanted to kind of get everybody familiar with where we're at. So here is the run character. We're looking at deposit coins. Add coins is easy. We take the coins or the tiles and add it. Super easy. I call this function every time we walk through the end of a tile. I should show the end of the tile as well so you can see it. So here is the tile, and here at the end there's this funny looking block. There we go. That is what calls the end of the block, so we know that we've gone through it. This little point here, the arrow, is where the system calls the next tile. So that's how it generates them infinitely. And basically we have it here, we drag it over. It would be the attach point, of course. I didn't look for it, this one here. And then we just tell it, get your location in the world and send that back. And then in the graph, or not in the graph, but in the tile, add tile function. Where are we at? I have too many functions. Let me look over here. It would be in the construction script, perhaps. In the set spawn points. No? Alright, well, let's fix the coins. You kind of see what it's about. This is how everything works. We're going to go ahead and see what we can do to make the coins work right. So when you're done with this, do you plan to stick it up on Steam or something? Maybe. I was going to think about doing it on Android. I thought it'd be a really good Android option. This is the default mannequin, so this comes with Unreal. When you start a third-person engine, you get it automatically. And that's that book I was talking about. I just wanted to stop here. Eventually, in the tutorial, this would kill you. I turned that off. I did. I turned it off. And you can kind of see how it's generated here. When you're running by, you don't really see that. But in that book, I was pretty proud of it. We'll take a quick look at it. And then we'll go on with our fixing of the coins. The coins I was pretty proud of too. So on the overlap of the coin, it's gonna, or of the book, it's gonna check if it's collected. I had some help with this, but basically after it plays its sound, it's gonna get all of the books and destroy them all, one after the other. And that way you can only collect it once and it just disappears from the level. That part works really well. So why is our money not adding up right? Let's take a look. We go back to the main menu. This is where our content browser is. So these are all of the stuff I've made. The blueprints folder I created. All of this is other downloads and assets I've added. This one we're using. This has all of our, it's a bunch of freeway stuff. So it has all the stuff on the road and the stuff that we're using. On the rural Australia, I'm using a few of the, I don't think we're using it now, but I wanted to use a few of the plants and a few of the things there. Third person comes with this by default as the starter content. You can choose not to have this. And the vehicle variety pack is where we got our car. We'll go ahead and load it so you can look at it. So here is the car right there. And we can add in any of these very easily. I can drag and drop. We can change things around. In my case, I did not drag and drop, but instead I created, we'll go to our blueprints folder, a BP blocker 0104 so that I could call it programmatically and put it in and not touch the original. That way I can change things around as I want. On this one you can walk on it, everything else will call death if you touch it. So if we look at this, it says on overlap, on component hit, if we touch it, it will call the death variable, which we'll look at real fast because that's important. And that's where our deposit coins on death is called, which I think is where our thing is broken. So on death, it's going to say set the variable is dead. You're dead. It's done. At that point, stop your movement, which we're going to disable input as well as movement, so you're not able to move around in any way. We're going to spawn that explosion, and we could change that very easily. I could put on fire, smoke. This is all came in the default package in the starter pack. So everybody has these. I could just put sparks out. The explosion's kind of the coolest one. Unreal also gives out free content every month. The last free content, I'm pretty excited about it, honestly. We'll pull it up here. Can't talk about Unreal without talking about it. You can see I have a lot of those content there at the bottom, and it was all free. I haven't paid for anything. So free for the month right here. You can see it says owned on all of them. Some really cool stuff. And you could put that in a game. You could put that in a video. You can use Unreal to make videos. You don't have to make video games. You can just make videos with it, which is pretty incredible. There's all kinds of weird stuff when you do a new project. I don't want to lose where we're at, so we'll pause on the new project, but it has options for people not doing games, which I thought was really cool. Okay, so where are our coins broken? So all of this stuff, the print strings will be gone from the final. You won't leave those in. So when you see stuff printing on the top left, that will be gone eventually. Let's see, deposit coins on death is where we're thinking the problem is. I'm going to read over it a little closely. These variables are part of the run character, and that's why they don't need to be called this way. The cast is how I call the variables in another spot. We'll pull up the other spot just to look at it and be in this folder. My game instance. There's nothing here. There's no graph. All we have is variables. Other than that, it's not used. So I have coins, blocks, tiles, book 1, and is it a new game? I did the new game. Oh, let me not get too distracted. Okay, so we're back to our death. calling our coins. Let's find out what happens. So here is our arrow. This one here goes to set total coin. And it is coming from the game instance. It's adding coins to total coin. Pretty simple. I don't see a problem there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the coin. The coin is adding up money as well. So I'm going to open it up and take a look at what it's doing. Trimby says, oh, that'd be cool. Aw, neat. Videos too, huh? I wonder if Minecraft animations would be possible. Love to mess around with that. Yes and no. You'd have to have some Minecraft setup, but the cinematics are incredible. You can do any camera you want. You can put it on a rail. It can fly around something like the Matrix. You can do all kinds of really cool things, and it's free. It's all free. You just have to know how to do it, which is, I think, really cool. So I have this just floating here. I don't like that. That was part of something that I'm obviously not doing. Okay, so what are we doing? Let's take a look. The coin is going to tell us if the branch tries to collect twice. Basically, it's going to stop 2 coins from being collected from 1 coin. And if that happens, it'll tell me. So that's cool. Then in the run character, our main breadboard for this project, we have set coins, which is fine. It's going to take coins and add 1. That sounds good. It's all happening in the run character. It's going to set the variable collected to true, this one here, so it won't add up twice. You actually ought to have that the other way, huh? Looking at it, I feel like that's missing a step. I don't know if you see that, but I feel way better setting the variable first and then adding the coin in. So that's what we're going to do from now. And that's the other part I love about this. And I'm new to it, but it's awesome being able to just do it the way you want in a lot of ways. So this is my sound, and the sound's good. I downloaded it. It's not part of the engine. We destroy the coin, which is fine. And then we're going to the game instance, and we're adding the coin immediately. And then when we die, we're doing it again. So we just solved it. So what we need to do is go to the death script, go to the deposit coins, or just not call that. I'm trying to think if we want to do this. We can just take coins out. And if I'm going to do that, I'm going to erase them, because it is much cleaner and easier to read once I do. I feel way better about it now. Okay, so the only confusing part is that it's kind of still too close together. Okay, that's fine. So we have our first branch, which adds blocks. Our second branch adds tiles. And that's it. It's all saving it to the game instance. I think we fixed it. I'm super excited to give it a test out. I'm going to file, save all. And I did make a setting change that I want to make everyone aware of. I went in here and I went, always save on compile. All of the tutorials, they go compile and save. Compile and save. And I thought that was silly when I have this option right here. So I selected it. We are compiling and saving simultaneously. So let's check our math here. This says if the condition on this is if total blocks is less than blocks. Okay. We'll see if it works. Let's double check it. Now here's something that about Unreal I don't know. I like it, but it's weird. If I click this from this menu, it opens in a separate window. If I do it from here, it opens in the big window. So I try to always do it from the main menu, from the main window, whatever your main window is. So we're in. We're going to go ahead and collect a couple of coins. That feels a little loud, so we might turn it down. The book is really loud, and if you watch, we'll collect a special book here. You can see them up ahead, and, well, I missed that one. But as I grab it, notice how they disappear up ahead. There's one on the right, and it's gone. Ooh, I feel like we lost coins and everything. I want to see that back. Okay, so that was it. We went 14 and 14. It fixed it. It fixed it. So let's take a look at how menus are done, because none of the tutorials that we listed here were about menus. The menus were all totally in addition to this tutorial. Let's fix those. I saved them all under widgets. So this one here, if we look at it, is a huge picture, and I used AI to generate it. I thought it was a cool picture. I'm going to Control Z that change. I don't think that Control Z very well. There we go. So that's basically the image we get. These items we can move around, but what they had us do in a separate tutorial was to go in and anchor them. So I did. I anchored them. That's why their positions are all basically at 0, and I move them around through alignment. We can move it around so you can see. So it should be 0.5, and it's right back where it wants to be. So this one we can move around for fun so you could see that as well. So we can put it anywhere you want. I believe it was at 1. And I felt like that was good. The store is good. Let's see here. It says simulating. That's because the game is still active, which I didn't mean to do. Okay, so that's how the menus look. That's not what I wanted to see, though. What I wanted to see was the run HUD. There we go. This here I wanted to remove. This was my double check. This variable, we'll pull it up over here, is get coins count 1. Let's pull that up in the graph. So this one here was basically the game instance number. The number that was saved in the game instance that can travel between levels. I had a hard time learning about that. I thought we could save everything in the run character and it would still exist in the run character when I opened a new map. But it doesn't work that way. I've chosen to use new maps for all of this. I thought it was pretty exciting. So the first map is basically blank and empty. The second map is blank and empty. The third map is blank and empty. But I do have a mood lighting set. If you hold Control and L and move your mouse around, we can change the lighting very easily. There's the sun there. So we could do golden hour just like that. We could make it a little darker, you know. That's what I did on the main level. So it looks a little better, I feel like. It has a better lighting atmosphere. We'll go ahead and pull up the game again just so you can see it. Yeah, it's not quite as dark, and the sun's over to the right. Oh, the hitbox on that is unfair. I hit my laugh button, but it didn't laugh. Okay. Hey, no laughing at that. Let's see what we can do here. Hey, Neon! Dustmeister! We got a crowd coming in. A couple of legends. Welcome in, welcome in. So, that's what we've done. It basically stores your coins. It tells you your distance. I think of it in feet, but I don't know exactly how it's translated. I just times it by 10 or 12, I believe. Let me check what I did on the math on that. Let's check it out. So we're looking at this. We need to go into the graph, right? What are we seeing? We're seeing the actual game. So I need to load the HUD and go into the graph. And from here, I want the tiles. So I did. I times it by 12. I was thinking that would be like feet. We could find another way to actually determine the real footage that you're going. But I thought for our instance, it's pretty good. Every time you cross a tile, it just adds in one tile. And then at the end, you know how far you've ran. It only saves your best. it doesn't keep adding it up, which I thought was pretty cool too. So if we go a few times, I'll go longer this time than the second time. Hopefully, if we can do it right. And the book won't be that close either. It'll be far away. So there it says 276. If I play again and we die immediately, the 276 stays. The coins should add up and continue to add up. So let's check that. If I get 1 coin and die, it does. It works. 8 coins. So the process, the game itself is barely functional. We need some flair though. We need some flair. The store has nothing in it. I had an idea, and we could create it right now. Let's go ahead and do it. So what I want to do, we're going to copy this guy, run HUD, and we're going to rename it to car HUD. That's for character. I'm going to open that up, and we're going to get rid of all of this. We're going to stop the game because I have a tendency to leave it running because we're just in a menu. So it's kind of strange for me. So this is going to be an overlay. This is going to be in front of whatever else we're looking at. I want it to be a character. So you can have a few different characters. It will not affect who you're running with, although that could come later. But right now it's just going to be a character image. Let's go ahead and add that in. Let's see here. So we have our canvas panel. This is the items here, down here in the bottom. Up here is what we can add. The palette is all the stuff you can add. So we can add the image directly. I kind of want a border. Let's just add the image for now. There we go. Okay, so I find it easiest, to be honest. You can dig through and find them, but if you click this button, it's going to use whatever is selected. So I like to just come over here and select it, but for this one, I want it to be random. I don't want it to be pre-selected. Let's anchor it to the right, and we'll zero everything out. I'm going to do 100 by 400. No, let's do 100 by 100. And do 1. And negative 0.2. Okay, 1.2 is what we're going to run with. So that's the anchor I've set up. It's going to appear on the top right corner, just a little bit off. And it's just going to be your image. So right now it's going to be blank. I don't actually want the image there. I want it to be a variable. But let's fill it in so it's easy for us to know what we're dealing with. So if I go into characters, I've put a whole bunch of these together. I had fun doing it. There's a whole wild selection. Let's go with a robot guy. So I just click on it. That's all I got to do. And we're going to go back to what we were doing and just click this button. And it just fills it in all nice. Super good. For now, let's go ahead and compile. And that's done. I'm going to change all this around. We're going to be calling that as a variable later. But for now, let's see if we can add it to the game. So we're going to go to the game and check it out. Sorry, I'm trying to think my way through this now. So we go ahead and go back to our content in our blueprints folder, and it's the run game mode. This is what the tutorial had us name it. So it's a file you'd be familiar with when you finish the tutorial. Basically, when the game starts, when the event begin play is called, it's going to call to the run character, and I put this in, to set your blocks to 0. I want to call a reset on the blocks. After that, we're going to run a loop. And usually they did 9 or some higher number. And this is the number of initial tiles that are created for the infinite runner. So it's going to call add floor tile. In add floor tile, it's kind of a mess, but we'll go through it real quick. It's going to call to the game instance, going to call a new game, and that new game is a variable we talked about. I set that. If it's a new game, we will set the new game variable to false. It is no longer a new game, and we're going to add 3 tiles in through a sequence. That's in this add first tile, which basically looks for the spawn point, that little anchor we talked about. It's going to spawn the tile that we asked for, just the one tile. It's going to get the next, transform the next arrow, and set that variable that was set before to the next arrow. And that's how it becomes infinite. And then I added this part in. We're going to find out how many straight lines we have, and I might have varied from the tutorial a little bit on that part, because he had another instance set up. Okay, so this is the add floor tile. We were going through it. All of this is extra. This basically is what happens on every one. And I thought it was exciting, and I kind of kept it there, but it is unnecessary. Okay, let's save that. I feel good about that change. Just cleaning things up. Hey, Titus! Titus Hunter, how are you doing today? You're probably more advanced than I am. Welcome in, welcome in. Let's make some noise. I'm glad we were able to fix the money problem we were having. It was adding money up twice. That was my fault. So after we add that first tile, we're going to add in a curve. When are we going to add it? When the straight lines equals 7. At that point, it basically resets that, so every 7th spot, it adds in a floor curve. And if this condition straight does not equal, then it adds in a straight tile. They're basically calling the same event in different ways to make sure that I have what I want out. I thought it was exciting. I need to make additional tiles. I need to work on the tiles. They're not ready at all, but it's still a pretty exciting adventure. So we're going to save all. I feel like a lot of good things have happened. We have that widget that we created with our little icon. We want that to appear. So we're going to the run game mode, and we're going to take a look at the event graph. It wasn't there. Maybe it's not in the run game mode. Let's take a look elsewhere. So this is the run character. It basically controls your movement. I had help on this. I had major help on this. But in the tutorial, they were calling it the movement on the event tick. Doing so, the tick is every frame of animation. So doing so, every frame you would move forward, which did solve the problem of movement. What we're doing now is we've created a custom run event, and we're setting a timer, and that timer needs to be a variable, and it'll control our speed. It's very precise, which I thought was really cool. I definitely had help. Thank you, Robbie, for helping me with this. Huge shout out. He just looks at it and he's a genius. So, thank you. The rest of this is movement, which was all pre-built in the third-person character that you get. I'll show you the third-person character. In the third person, if we go to blueprints, my backup run character is a second instance. There's also the third-person game mode, which we overwrote into the run game mode. We saved it in blueprints. So our run game mode is the game mode we're using now. And then the run character is the third person character rewritten for our purposes. I kind of like the process. This part was in the tutorial. It basically, if you press A, it's going to check if you can turn left. In each tile that's a turn, we didn't look at this yet, but we'll pull it up. So left turn, we go to the tile. There is a giant block here you can see. I can't select it unless I find it in here. Can turn L. So this box here that's highlighted in yellow, if you're in that box, anywhere in that box, we'll go to the graph real quick. If you're in that box, the turn L box, we're going to set can turn L to true. And then as soon as you turn, it basically turns it back to false. So you can only turn once, you can only turn left, or you can only turn right based on the direction of the tile. It's all programmed in. I like that. In the tutorial, it was just can turn, so I did separate it into two variables. I thought that just made sense. And that's the kind of improvements I believe they expect you to make. So this is it again, if you hadn't seen it before. The freeway pack gives us all of the blocks. I did make the coins. I made the books. I'm avoiding the book because it's a loud noise. There was a stop sign in the car. That's something we could fix maybe, right? Separating out all of that stuff is like the busy work, but I definitely wanted to go over what's going on with all of it. So where was our next challenge? We were trying to add our widget is what they call it. So I've called a widget on here before on death. I have death screens. I'll show them off for fun. So I got a whole bunch of different screens we can show when someone dies. Haven't implemented that, but that should be easy to do. That would be easier than the other stuff. One cool feature I want to mention. If I'm done with all of this stuff, I can close all the tabs to the right, and it'll close all the tabs to the right. So that is a super cool feature, I feel like. Let's go ahead and do the death screen. That's an easy one. Something we can easily implement. So in the widgets, it'll be like this one, I guess. We'll just duplicate it. We'll call it the death HUD. So everything's got to go. And that image, we just go ahead and select. Tell me I chose a death image. It's telling me, oh, haha, I had to move it. So we go back into it real quick. We'll pick a death image. Let's go with... Wow, so many choices. That's my problem. So I just click on it. That's all I have to do. And then we put this back up here where we can work on it. And we just click that button. So these are meant to be viewed longer. Something like that maybe. Could be good. For now, again, this will all be variables later. Now it's telling me all the stuff in the graphs are broken, which is fine. Okay, so that's fine. We have a death widget. I feel good about it. Let's take a look at it one last time. We got blueprints, widgets. Okay, so now we go to the run character. On death, we'll call that widget. So while we're doing this 2-second delay, oh, I don't remember how to do it. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just looking now. I feel like it's all of a sudden super quiet while I'm looking this up. Let's see. It's a cast or a call. I know it is. Let me look at one of my other HUDs real quick. So that's just what that happens. Here we are. It's not set active widget index. That's close though. I remember removing all widgets. I always did that. Let me look at another one. Okay, here we go. Those are all real simple. What about the run widget? So it does nothing. That's what I thought. Very good. It's going to get the blockers, the tiles count, and these are just the variables on the main page, just these variables here. I did want to delete that. Thought I had done that already, but that's okay. So now we only have one set of numbers. We're going to have our picture up here on the right as well. That's where we're going to. So let me open this up. In 4, I will point this out. It is very easy to find your level blueprint. This is the same button in 5. It's just got a picture, so it's not labeled. It took a little while to figure that out. Okay, so create main menu HUD widget. That's how it's done. Right there, we found it. When we begin play, we're going to remove all widgets, and then we're going to set the input mode so that we're not running around in the game. And we'll open up the main menu HUD. That's it. So, oh, and add to viewport. They kind of run together. We'll grab them together. And is there anything else we need to do on here? I'm just trying to think my way through everything. We got a death screen to add to the death page. Let's do that in the run character. In this big section we labeled death. We're going to go ahead and increase the space that we're going to use. And here we go. So it's going to show the death HUD. It's going to add it to the viewport. For 3 seconds. Then it's going to go and open up the home map. So we're going to save everything, save all, compile that, and we're going to open up the home map. I have to do it. We have to see what's going on. So here we go. Home map, we're going to go ahead and open up the same thing, the level blueprint. So it does call remove all widgets. I just wanted to be sure. Okay, so let's run it. Here we go. I'm excited. So that happened into the second page because I was in the home map. We're going to go ahead and kill the program real fast, and we're going to go back to the main menu just so we see it as we're supposed to see it. Because that's what I want. I'm going to hit back so you can see. So there's going to be a new game, and that will always clear your progress. You'll always have zeros. There's going to be a continue, which if you were playing would maintain your numbers. So that's the goal. We're going to have settings as well with resolution, volume. You can reset everything, which includes money and your game. And that's the plan. So we go to play. We're just testing our death widget we just created. So here we go. All right. All right. That worked perfectly. So do we want to say anything on that screen? Kill the program. Do we want to say you died? That might be good, right? Let's do text. And we could print out how many coins you had and all that. We could make that a part of it again. It was on there before. So maybe it'd be easier if we copied the page where it was and just added the image to that. Ooh, that gave me an idea. Let's do that. So we're already we're already in the death HUD. Bear with me a second here. We're going to just leave this alone. Except I can't leave it like that. I need to turn up the size so it looks better. Where's our font size? Usually I see it pretty easily. There it is. Okay. That looks a lot better, right? But we're not going to use this page. So that's done. What I'm going to do instead, we're going to get into our widgets here. And I want the home widget. This is the one we're using. Just to double check it. And it has coins and distance. And that's why I want it. But we'll have to fix distance to be right. Because it'll have to pull the right number. But that sounds good. Okay. Get back out of this. And we'll duplicate the home HUD. Super easy to do. This will be Death HUD 2. And that way we can fix it up and make it right. So I don't want the buttons. I do want these data points. So we can delete that. We can delete that image and the canvas panel. Get rid of the buttons. Want to keep all of that, and we want to replace this image with, from our death pack we chose, maybe we'll choose something different this time. That one's pretty cool. Okay, so Death HUD 2, just hit that button, and that's way cooler than what we had before. Now we're going to add in that text like we were talking about. And under appearance, we had font and size. And I think we had it about there. And we were going to anchor it because I didn't do that last time. And that's important. So I want it to appear in the center of the screen. We're going to 0 this and 0 that and see what that means. So that's okay. Let's do a -0.5. Just a 0.5. There we go. I actually feel really good about that. Yeah, I feel really good about that. So we're going to hit compile. And it's telling me all of these buttons don't have matching components because I've gotten rid of all the buttons. Because there will be no buttons. So the Death HUD 2 will now compile successfully, and that is what it looks like. Ooh, that is pretty cool. Let's fix our run character to make that happen. There we go. It's done. The change is finished. Now, the one thing I didn't do is to fix this number. So we're going to take a look at that. It's calling get tile count. So we go over here to get tile count. That's interesting that they weren't open by default. Okay, so there are functions. So I'm calling the function. We open it up. Let's take a look. Get tile count text. That's the function name. It's calling the game instance, which is our variable save for the total tile. It's times 12 again, and returning it. So I don't want to pull from the game instance. Instead, I want to pull from the character. So we're going to do this. Cast to the run character. We're going to get the player character for that. Once we've got our player character, we're not going to use this at all. We might still use the times 12. So let's check our tile. We're going to get the tiles on the main character. Plug that in. And we don't have to do anything else with this white line, right? So the white line just does the cast to the run character to get this variable. Used to go to the game instance, and it is saving to both simultaneously. However, when you leave the map, when it goes back to the other page, and we'll talk about that shortly, you'll lose the variable in the run character. So this here, the return node, is going to return 12 times the tiles. Seems pretty simple. We'll compile that. That's different than what it was before. Let's give it a test. I want to see the new screen too, I really do. So I've got 1 coin, and I died. It's got 144 there. 144 there. So I hit play again. I got to get more distance than last time. And I got to get rid of all that blue text. It looks funny, right? But that's okay. That's just added in so I can, as a developer, know what I'm doing, right? If I push right or left, I've added that in. Every time a book shows up, it tells me. So 432, 432. Now we do a short one. 120, 1 tile, right? And it doesn't update. That's so good. So good. It works exactly as I wanted it to. Okay, so our death screen looks pretty good. I feel like it's kind of short, though. I didn't have a chance to really see it. We're going to go 5 seconds. And while that may be a long time, I could add in a function where if you press a key, it will restart the game. And we could list that or make that known. Let's do that, because I do like being able to restart the game very quickly. So what I'm looking for is the action key, I think is what it's called. It's let's try a different character. Turns out X is a very common one too. I wonder if Q would be as well, you know? So let's see, if you hit U, if I scroll down, I'm looking for the alphabet. Wow, use a ton. Just like you see here, events for when the A is pressed. I don't remember, because I was just able to hit A and it went to it pretty quickly. I'm just digging through it real quick and we'll find what we're looking for. Goodness, there is so many things under each of these options. It's not a for each, it's not a cast. There we are. That's the section I want. Okay. Keyboard events. There we go. It's called a keyboard event. So we want F, the F key. If you press the F key, we're just going to open a new map, right? Or restart level. Yeah, just open map. Open level by name. That's the one. And we're going to do run level 1. That's the name of the level. We'll go and show you that as well for fun. So run level 1 is... That was a test. And this is the second version, LVL1. So you can see they're very similar, but I know that that was that, and I'm just going to delete that one before we're done. But for now, let's go back to where we were at. So if you press F, it will open the game all anew. But not from the main menu, from the game itself. So we go to the main menu, we open it up, it looks okay, we hit new, we hit play, we grab a couple of coins, and we'll die. That's a little more impactful. I can see I got 7 coins. I have a chance to do it. I'm going to hit play again. So what if, now this isn't set up to kill you yet. Oh, yeah it is. Okay, so we're gonna test that F key this time, ready? So we're over here and we're like, oh, we're stuck for some reason, right? It worked. Now let's try it in the death screen, just as a second test. It didn't work. And that's because we disabled input. Okay, so we know what the problem is. This will work once we're not dead. Because when we're dead, we've disabled our input. I could cancel that and see what happens. The disable input was recommended in the tutorial, right? So let's see what happens. Let's give it a shot. I'm excited to test this out. Here we go. We've got some money. We died. I hit F. It restarts. So let's die again. If I hit other keys, nothing happens. If I hit F, it restarts. So the F function is working like a dream. If I give it the 5 seconds here. Now, I don't know if it added up all the coins. Because if I cheat death and hit that F key, let's look up the character here. So it plays the sound, it does all this stuff, it deposits the coins. But that doesn't do anything. We canceled that, if you remember. So we can remove that. No, this isn't coins. This is now depositing everything else. So we're going to rename it Deposit Stuff on Death. It's basically doing your blocks and your tiles. So that's fine. So deposit stuff on death occurs. It tells me that that's done. We can take that out. I don't care anymore about being told. And it creates the death widget, which is what we had to go look up and get done. So I'm pretty happy with that. I wouldn't mind having a way to skip out of this. If you click any button, it should go on. Right? It should be a delay unless you click something. That would be really good. I'm trying to think. So if you wait until you see the death HUD to restart, it should add your coins up. I'm really curious, so I'm just going to run through it one more time. Let's see what happens here. So I had 3 coins. I hit F. I have 1 coin, 2 coins, 4 coins. It's saying 7 there, and it should have been 4. So I fixed the tiles and not the coins in the death HUD. Let's take a quick look. This number right here, pulling from get coins count in the graph, is pulling from the game instance and not the character. So let's get the player character again, and we're going to go ahead and cast to the run character. We're going to eliminate the old. And plug in the new. So there we go. Let's fix that so it looks right. Connect the end to the node, and we're good to go. Let's hit compile and see if it works. So if it gives us an error, we would know. I'm pretty confident that that is going to do what I wanted. Pretty funny I missed that the first time through. So we got 1 coin, and we died. Why does it say 14? What just happened? Let's try it one more time. So we're at coin 0. Every time a book comes out, it's filling up with all that data. That's pretty funny. And I'm seeing some variables. So that was not 24 coins. There's no way. So something in the Death HUD 2 is not working right. Okay, it's because I said tiles. I was not thinking coins, was I? There we go. There we go. Surprised I didn't catch that. How embarrassing. Okay, it's fixed. Let's see if it works. We got 1 coin. Got 1 coin. Okay, so we want to add 1 coin to that and make sure it works everywhere. We got 1 coin. 1 coin. 2 coins. It works. It works. Now if I hit the F key, I got 2 coins, 3 coins, right? It works. It works even when you skip and cheat death. That's really cool. So we've built a cheat into the game, and you all know what it is now. Whew, that's a big responsibility, and it's not much of a cheat. But that's exciting. Let's see where this goes from here. Very excited about this. We're going to run through it one more time just so you can see the game, because I've been just dying over and over for fun. And we are going to change a lot of it. The car is not going to be there most likely. It's a test. It lets you jump over the taller variables. It lets you jump over the taller items, blocks. And that way everything is dodgeable. I thought that was pretty cool. So the car might stay there. Once you collect the book, we need to work in a book power. That would be really cool. What if the book was to make our speed faster? Let's do that for fun. Let's do that for fun. And then we'll call it a stream, I think. So, the book, when collected, on the run character, we have a variable for it. Book 1. Do you have it or not, right? So I want, instead of that, I want to promote that to a variable. That's funny that happened. Okay, and it's called time. I don't want it to be called time, so we're going to rename it. I want it to be called velocity, I guess. Because it's not really time in our instance. It's moving us forward very quickly. If I compile that, then over here, you can see it already has a value. Good. Now we can change that variable if we need or want to. So as we go forward, let's take a look. This is not being used because it's not connected anywhere. And all the code is right. So we don't need that. Good. This is how we turn corners. That was all in the original tutorial as well. And in my movement section here, we call the run event, and it basically sets a timer. And it loops that timer. And then it goes through and allows our input. So that sounds good. We're allowed to do our input. We're not doing anything on event tick like we're supposed to. I'm pretty excited to say. Built in our cheat. Feel like it's too quiet. Maybe we'll turn on our music here. Yeah, that's a little better. Now I'm going to be able to think. Okay, so I want to get rid of a lot of the print. So if we see any of those, I'm going to start getting rid of them, because I just use them to test with. That's where all those numbers are coming from. Done. Okay, so I don't mind this one, but that's the only one we're keeping. That's the only one. So let's go through everything else and just make sure we're in good shape. This is our run character. So easy to update and change too. They have so many assets on Unreal. I had some issues because the one I loaded was so high resolution that it just messed up my system. So we're not going to play too much with changing that out on this stream, but it's something I want to do in a future stream. We're back to the main menu. Let's take a look. We just did our death widget. Where's our game mode? Okay, so in the game mode, we add in our tiles. I guess we could do our tiles. That would be good. They're kind of fun to do, honestly. We could do more blockers, too. I need more of those. I need more books. The book was the challenge, to be honest. Yeah, let's do tiles. Tiles are fun. So I've got our left turn. I've got our right turn. This one here is not being used, and I'm going to delete it. Alright, so we have left, right, and our straight tile. In the tutorial, they did several tiles. But what I wanted to do is get a tile perfect. And once I had it perfect, then we were going to go ahead and use the add child class instead of duplicate. By adding the child class, all the stuff here will translate automatically to the next. And it's cool and it works in a great way. So this is the map, but I really want something on the sides. I want people cheering, or I want some kind of excitement, but we have cars. So let's go ahead and add in some points. What if we did that? Yeah, they're just arrows. That's so funny. Okay, so we're going to copy that a few times. Copy, paste, spawn point 8. I'm going to copy that and paste. Where's 8? Okay, good, good. That feels good. We'll paste again. And paste again. So now I should have all of these together, right? We'll copy that and paste it down, and we'll move that to the other side. So just like that, we have 8 different points that we're going to be spawning things into. Pretty excited for this. Let's see how it goes. Let's save it. A lot of points there. So now our set spawn points is getting convoluted, but I guess that's what's bound to happen, right? Let's make it happen. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's all of them. Bring them all down. So I'm going to put them in order because it would drive me crazy if they were not in order. But we're having fun. We're doing it. 15 goes to the bottom. 14 goes above it. And we are good to go. So now I just want a bunch of these. And we got to connect them all. We got to do the work. So get rid of 7. And here we go. 8, 9, 10. And then we're going to be making a new object, which is always fun too. Oh, we ran out. Check that out. How exciting. We used even more than we did before. Now, I just want one array. And we're going to add a number of pins to it. Here we go. I wish there was an easier way, but you just carefully connect each one. No big deal. So what it's doing is it's making an array. An array is like a database or a spreadsheet. It's just an object that is going to hold all of these in memory so that they can be recalled. They start at 0 and they go up from there. So let's do this. Turn that down just a little bit, and so now I need to make one of these. I'm going to duplicate this. This is a transform. A transform is a collection, an array of, well, the transform is just a location in the world. It's an array of transforms, which is cool, a collection. Let's change the name to building spawn points. And then we're going to call that when we're done doing everything else. Okay, so all those points we just set on the map are now called in the program. So that's pretty good. I don't have anything that's using it yet, right? It's not being used. So let's use it. We're going to go into, I guess we need some objects, right? Let's find some objects. So in our blueprints, I've created a few things. Now I need something new. It's not going to be a blocker, but I'm going to copy this one anyway. We're going to name it Building 0101. And we're going to open that up. So this basically kills the character. If they walk into it or touch it, it will kill them. It was turned off for the car, and I've just turned it on for this object, which looks like a car. It's not always going to look like a car. It's only going to look like a car for a few minutes. It's a pretty nice one. Yep, soak it in, because it's gone. Here we go. What we got to do is pull up the static mesh, and this button here is going to allow us to change it to whatever other asset we want in our huge collection of stuff. So let's take a look at what we got in our meshes in rural Australia. We have rocks, vegetation. Should we do big rocks on the side? Those look interesting, but not what I'm thinking. I'm just looking at all of them real quick. So I don't know if that's exactly right. You can see the logs. They're pretty small on your screen, I'm sure. So here are some trees. They're easier to see. They would kill us if we hit them. Let's try it. Oh, I opened it by double clicking. That was my mistake. So once I've touched it, we go back to our building and we select it. I'm waiting for it to recompile now. I think. Maybe I didn't touch it. Check that it's selected. Maybe it's not compatible. Let's try this one. Whoa, there we go. There we go. So I need that to be much smaller, I feel like, because I feel like that's really big. That's really, really big. But let's try it. I don't want to mess anything up before we try it. So here we go. I've got a cat joining me here. Coding Cat is here to save the day. Let's go. Okay. So that tree is huge. Okay. I should have locked it. Let's fix it. 1, 1, 1. Everything's right back to the way it was. We lock it in position, and then when we shrink it, it'll all be shrunk in size together. So what if we just do a small tree? How do we feel about a small tree? Let's save it, and let's call it. That's the object. So we're calling death if they run into it. If they hit this component, any component of this tree, we're calling death. That's good. I don't want them to run into the tree and not die. Now, what I was doing in the tile, here we go, is we're setting the spawn points, but I'm not spawning them. I need that function to be called, right? So in the construction script of each tile, we spawn the blockers, the coins, additional blockers, and the book. So now I'm going to add to that. And maybe there's a better way to do this. I'm just basically doing a modular thing. So we could put them all into one big blueprint. Totally possible. I could separate it even more. I kind of like the system, so we're going to stick with it for just a minute. Let's make a new function. So over here, function. This function will be to spawn building. And I know it's a tree right now, but I wanted buildings. Buildings was what was in my head. I loaded some buildings, and they were huge. And I don't know if it's going to exactly work like I was thinking. So we're going to try the tree. Okay, so in the spawn building, let's take a look at what we were doing before. It's the add child actor component is what we want to do after we get the points. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to copy all of that. There we go. That's what I want. That's not it. Come back over here and take me to our spawn building section. That's where I want it. Okay. So we don't want the blocker spawn points. Instead, we want our building spawn points. We're going to get that. And let's go over what it's doing. So it's going to take this array, this collection, and it's going to take the last number. In this case, it would be 7. It's going to feed that into this random number generator. So it's going to go 0 to 7. And then it's going to get the number that is generated, 0 through 7, of the spawn points. And it's going to place a actor component, which will be our BP building 0101. It's going to place that tree wherever this random spawn point is generated. So we could do that a few times if we wanted to do 2 or 3 trees. Let's do 2. I think 2 sounds appropriate. And we're just going to call it twice to make sure that it happens twice, because I'd hate to have the same number be used. I'd also like to not have it be the same number. Let's do that. That's going to be a little complicated, but let's make it happen. Branch. So now we need a condition. A branch is an if then. What is our condition? Lu Hao Vlogs, welcome in. From China, wow, welcome, welcome. Excited to have you here. Okay, where was I thinking at? We want to stop it from being the same number, so return the value of the index. So I want to say if this equals that. Okay, so if this equals that, we'll feed that into our condition on our if-then statement. So if the first number equals the second number, that's bad. If that's not true, let's break the true line, then add a second tree. But if it's true, don't do anything. So we'll only get 1 tree if it pulls the same number. I like it. It's pretty simple logic. Let's give it a shot. Here we go. I don't see any trees. Oh, my heart is breaking. I used to have a laugh on it when you died. It was this laugh that I always use. I don't have it anymore. I took it off because it was on my keyboard and it's not working. Whoop. That was weird. That's all right. So the tree didn't work yet. Let's find out why. Let's go to the tile. Let's hit stop. Let's hit compile. And let's find out what happened. Spawning the building in the spawning points. I feel like that's correct. I didn't call it in the construction script, so it never happened. That's worth a laugh. That's worth a laugh. How do you like me now, game? Let's try it. Oh, look at that. And we're going to test it. Very nice. Very loud. Very nice. It's only loud because I'm blasting my headphones so I can hear that music because I was playing it real quiet. Well, let's see what we got. I'm pretty excited. We're going to exit. The game closes, just like it should. So, simple as that. This is how to make a random number. I don't need it here. It should be deleted, but I really like it. So I wanted to keep it as a memory. So for now, that is what we're doing. On the construction script, we just call each of our functions. We're going to set the spawn points, spawn blockers, spawn the coins, and the secondary blockers. Now all of that and the books are set here. The spawn building, oh, even the spawn building is called here. So that set spawn points is a sprawling collection of stuff now. Yeah, we did all that. Pretty exciting. Pretty exciting. And it worked. We'll get back to the tile here. Let's compile and see what we get. I'm going to do a simulation. Why didn't it show it to me? That was weird. Try that again. In the simulation, we could kind of move around and see what we want to see. How am I alive this long? That was crazy. I wasn't supposed to live that long. Okay. So basically, in the simulation, I'm not fast enough, am I? Oh, in the simulation, I can't hit the F key. It didn't work. That's pretty funny. So now we're in viewport, not simulate, which is good. Let's give it another shot. Okay, okay. Very good. Still have a lot of stuff there appearing on the right. I've got to remove the one about the book. I've got to fix the walls so they kill you. I feel like that's a necessity now. What do you think? It's time. It's time. So let's find the tile. Here we go. This is the tile, and this is the time. So we come over here, and we scroll down, and we just do on component hit. Anytime they run into it, blat, they're done. And we just call death. Whoop, whoop, whoop. There's some easy examples of it. So that's not it, but that's okay. We will find the easy example and just copy it. So for now, let's leave that and pull up the other one. Back to the viewport and the other one. Here we are on component hit. There we go. We have our left and our right wall. We'll have to do this for both of the turns separately. They have extra walls, but that's fine. So I suppose we could just cast to the run character, right? If we cast to the run character, we could just call death, I believe, because that's how we programmed it. So there we go, just like that. As run character, call death. And gotta just copy it because I need this other actor to apply again. Otherwise, I would just run them up to the same thing. Actually, maybe I could. Suppose we could test it. But for now, let's test out the base code before we start making changes and optimizations, right? Okay, so let's go back to the main, hit play, and here we go. We're running through the level. Everything's good. We're going to die right here. And you can see it's still taking my input until we get to this screen, and now it's not taking my input. That's good and bad. I disabled input, but we canceled that on stream just a bit ago. So we've got the book. So the wall did not kill me. The wall... Oh, that part of the wall killed me. So why did the wall not kill me? Maybe I didn't hit it hard enough? It's very interesting. There's another way to solve this, though. A much better way to solve this that I like quite a lot. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. And what we're going to do instead, we're going to go to the viewport, and we're just going to add in a section that says you can't go over here, right? So give me a box. It's going to be a collision box. Oop. that's not what I want. Go to the default scene route. Go to add. Give me a collision box. We're going to name this Death Right. And here it is. This is our little box right here. The little box that could. And I said it would be on the right. So we're going to put it over here. I'd like to try to just kind of put it somewhere in the center. And then we're going to start stretching it out. Doesn't matter how much bigger it is, as long as it covers the whole area. So that's fine there. Why is that so? Oh, that's so funny that it was changing all the values and I didn't notice. It's all about paying attention. So that will be good enough. Let's go ahead and check its location. All right, that's perfect, right about there. You're not allowed to jump on that wall anymore, sir. So that's really good. That's Death Right. We're going to copy it and go up here to the default scene route and paste it. By doing that, it ensures it doesn't end up underneath another item, which has caused me some conflict in the past. Let's put that right there, and we're going to triple check that it's accurate, because I want it to be good. Okay, and does it cover the whole area? Covers the whole area. So they're both perfect. So we're going to compile that. And what is this named? We're going to rename it real fast to Death Left. Now we need to enable that because it's not doing anything on its own. Let's turn it on. Pretty excited for this part. Let's do it. So we go to the section down here on the bottom right. On component begin overlap. And we do the same thing in the other side. Oop, come back to the tile, go back to the viewport. And I want Death Right. On component begin overlap. We are going to do the same thing we did before. And just call death on the character. And that should do it. The death function in the run character. So let's take a look at what that is again, just so we know. So if I go to the run character, we go to the event graph, and I scroll down to the bottom, the death custom event that we're calling is where we used to disable input, but we're not doing that right now. We do stop character movement. We hide the character. The mesh of the character is set to not visible. We play the explosion sound. We make sure all the stuff is deposited into the game save section. The my game. Oh, I don't remember what it's called all of a sudden. My game instance. Normally just called game instance. So we renamed it. And then we show out our death HUD for 2 seconds. 5 seconds. Giving you enough time before we head you back to the main menu. Hey, way too cool. Welcome in. How are you doing today? Welcome in. Welcome in. Excited to have you here. We are party rocking. So this is the game. I'll show it to you real fast. Real basic main menu. This is the home screen. You're going to have a character here. We've been working on getting that to display, but we haven't done a lot of progress on it yet. And this is the main game so far. We just added in the trees. They spawn randomly wherever they want to. You know, you can't argue with the tree. We added the death screen today. That's something we did. It adds up your coins. It puts them here in your home. Now if we go back and hit continue, you still have your money, right? But if we go back and hit new, your money's all gone. What do you think of that? So I was pretty excited. Pretty excited. Thank you. Thank you. Now I have no money. Now I have no money. The cars you can walk on. Everything else kills you when you touch it. Unless it's a pickup, right? Unless it's one of those health packs. Oh, Man, those hitboxes are vicious. This is your best distance. I need to kind of label them better, maybe. But I'm excited about it. I'm really having fun doing it. The coins, I want to show off a coin. Can I show off a coin? Oh, we're running the game. Okay, so I'll show off a coin real quick. This is the coins I have created. In the tutorial, they did the Sonic coin, and it's super cool. You just take a torus, which is pre-programmed in, you inflate it a little bit, and you got a coin. What I did instead is I took out of the starter menu this statue, and I flattened it, and I put it on the coin. And the coin's just a circle. I did the same on my book, which I created from scratch, kind of. I took that statue and I flattened it, and I put it on the book. I put purple lights on it because I thought purple was appropriate. There we go. We're going to compile and save that. And that is the Book of Power. That's the first Book of Power. There's going to be 5 of them. And as you get them, they're going to do different stuff. I suppose we should do that. That's really something we should do. I've been trying to think of how to implement it, to be honest. I'm glad you're excited. That's what makes it fun. That's why we do this. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. And you know, you can't have more fun than rewriting the rules the way you see fit. I don't know. I can't have more fun. So basically it's one tile plus these corner tiles that we've set up. So this is still allowed. That's so funny. But this will kill you, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. So if you jump off in any way, it should kill you. We put a cheat death screen, so if you don't want to see the death screen, you can hit the F key and you can bypass it. Like that. And you're right back into the action. I'm going to set it to be any key. And then otherwise you could wait to go back to the menu for just 5 seconds. We're going to work on all the blockers as well. I got 3 of them in here for some variety, but they need some work. They really do. You got to work on the distance variables. So the coins add up, and then you'll be able to go to the store and buy new characters. So let's get that character working. That's really where we're at now, I think. Let's close the game, and let's close everything to the right of this guy. Save all. Okay, now we're working on our character HUD. This right here, I had to stop because I couldn't remember the command, but now we've got it. I want it to play over the run HUD. Let's take a look. No, it's nothing in there that's going to do it. It's going to be in the main map. So let's open run level 1. That's this one here. And go into, ooh, you know, I want to fix the lighting while we're here, because that's nice. But that's more what I had in mind. That strawberry color of sunset. Oh, ooh, ah. Yeah, what do you think? Better or worse? I'm real curious. What do you think? Anyhow, while you're answering, let's get into this. Laugh out loud. Bam, you dead. Much respect, brother. Well, thank you. Way too cool. Thank you. This is my first time, so it's been an adventure. It's been a real adventure. So here is the run level. It shows this widget. So all I got to do is add another widget, right? We have our game mode set up. Add to viewport. Yeah, let's just do this again, right? Oh, I missed. All right, there we go. Now, with this setup, it is going to show the run HUD twice, which we don't want. What we do want is the car HUD. This is for character HUD. It's going to show our character image on top of the screen all the time, but we're going to have to set it up to do it. So this is just while we're playing the game, because we're in the run level, and then I'm going to go into the other levels and do the same thing. So that's it. Let's copy it. It's in the clipboard. We're going to run the thing and make sure it works as we intended. Oh, look at our character on the top right. Do you see it? Oh, so good right now. So good. So it doesn't show on the death screen because I run a remove all widgets, which I do all the time, which is fine because I want to be in control of the widgets that I'm presenting. So why is it all yellow? What's going on? Usually when it's yellow, you're running the program. It's uncomfortable. That's okay. We're going to figure it out. This is the part of the gameplay I love, being in control of the outcome. Ooh, that's exactly where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Thank you. Way too cool. Okay, so in the run character, we are drawing this thing. Now in our run character, let's pull him up. In the death screen, right here, we show the death widget. In the death widget screen, we want to add another widget. There we go. That's the one. So now your character is going to show on this second screen as well when you're in the death screen. Now the last thing to do is to put it on the home page. It won't be on the main menu because that would be silly, right? Because you might start a new character. Who knows? But in the home page, your garage, your lobby, I want to have a character display. Let's make it happen. Let's find that room. Let's go back a step and go to the home map. And let's load the home map up. There we go. Okay, so let's pull all this out and just add this up here like we were doing. Oh, what did I do? Control Z, Control Z. Okay. I moved the wrong thing. So I just did a bunch of Control Z's to fix it. There we go. Okay. And then basically allowing the show mouse cursor is the last thing here, if you could see it, which is important. So when the begin play is called from the home, when you're in your lobby, it calls the home. And it's going to call the character too. I'm going to add an achievements widget as well. We're going to have achievements that can show up at any time. So there's going to be one for achievements that'll just be blank unless the variable is called, and it'll pull it up and show, hey, achievement unlocked. So all that's coming too. I had it in version 4. I was way expanded on what I am here, and I decided to port to Unreal 5. I was pretty excited about Unreal 5. It's got some really cool features. The one thing that has been a conflict for me, something I've had to work on, I guess, a process to learn, is in the project settings under Edit. There we go. Under Input. In 4, you had this awesome option to just add in this stuff that you see here. Move right, move left. Now that's all deprecated, and we need to use enhanced input mapping contexts. Now we do have those in here. They're pre-written in to the third character. There's your enhanced input local subsystem right there. So it's pre-written in when you load any game instance, which is great. Let's test our game. Let's test it. We made some big changes. There's our character. Look at that. So if I go to the store, all I have is a back. I want a button to change that character. That sounds really cool. Let's hit stop and make it happen. So our character is showing what we wanted. Well, I didn't fully test it. Let's make sure it works on all screens. So if I go back, it's not showing. If I go new, it is showing. I go play, it's showing. I die, it's showing. That's what I want. That's what I want. All right. Yep, that's all perfect. Okay, so our next step is to go into the store and make it something they can change. Because not everybody wants to be a robot. Let's go ahead and change it out. So the home is the store. The store is the second page. I have a widget switcher. The widget switcher allows us to put more than one widget together. So if we start at the top, you're here. And then if we get through all of the back buttons and all of the text that we've added in here, there's another canvas panel, and that's where your widget switcher kicks in. So under that, we have our image, the store back button, and that's it. I want to have a couple more buttons. So let's go ahead and just copy these. And we're going to anchor it somewhere else. So let's go ahead and that's interesting where it put it. That's probably a better spot for a back button. Okay, so where's the first one? So we're not going to name that back anymore. That's going to be new car button. And the text of it will need to be new car button text. And it'll say new character. $50. I don't know if that's too much. Maybe we'll just do new character. That's interesting. I thought it would hold the text in there better, but it didn't. All right, 370, 100 wide is good. Why didn't the alignment move? Why is this set to anything? There we go. Okay. New character. That's a pretty good spot for it. So now we want to confirm that I didn't break everything with that duplicate setup. So back here, it's back one. And new car button right now is switching the widget, which I don't want. But that's what this back button was supposed to do. Hold on, Control Z. So the new car button is not going to be a widget switcher. I know that as a fact. The back button should be a widget switcher, and it should take us to widget index 0. Let's go ahead and just make sure I have the right one. So I'm going to go to the designer. I'm going to click on the back button. The back button, not the text. And we're going to bind it. Am I not doing it right? Where are we at? I don't want to bind the words. On clicked. That's what I was looking for. Oh, that's the store back button. Okay, okay. And that's what it's supposed to do. I basically switched the two buttons. So now the new car button is going to change our image. That's something we haven't done before. Let's take a look at the setup. Where is our image? Okay, here we go. We've got our image here. It needs to be a variable, doesn't it? Okay, okay, okay. So if I do this and I do clear, we're going to create a binding. I'm trying to think of how to do it here, because this slate brush wasn't right. What I needed was an image. Can I do it as an image? I had it selected. Come on, computer. Okay, so what I'd done before is I'd built an array, because that's what I like to do. I'm trying to think that's what we should probably do here as well, right? So let's just create an array real fast. Okay, so it's an image. And not only is it an image, it's an array. How do I change it from here? Let's compile it. It doesn't like not having a return. That's so funny. Can I just select the one I want? Let's go ahead and do it. Pick a good character. How about this guy? Lost my spot. Totally lost my spot. Where were we? We were putting on the character. There we are. Hit that button. Is it gonna work? See, I don't think that's what it wants. There's another way I gotta translate it, so we're gonna have to figure that out. But it looks like it might be getting on to about dinner time. So let's pause this right here, actually. We're in a pretty good spot. We're gonna go ahead and just kill this idea for a moment, and we will come back to it. To do that, I need to get rid of it. So let's do that. We go back to the event graph. Remove binding. And kill that. Okay, so we've undone all of that. We still have all of the other functionality built in. Pretty excited about how far we got today. People need to see this side of gaming, Way Too Cool says. I love the options. Shared your stream, bro. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. There are people that will respect your time into the game, and I'm your biggest fan. Way Too Cool, you are my hero. Thank you so much for being here today. I love doing this. I do. I have a fun time doing it. I sit and do AI pictures for it, and I think about all the levels and stuff, all the powers, you know, how I'm going to create the next book of power. It'll be 5 of them total, maybe 4. Maybe we'll just do earth, wind, water, and fire, right? Fire, I was going to make it destroy the obstacle as you hit it, so it doesn't kill you, you just run through it. That one's going to be cool. Air will speed you up. That'll be the easiest. We'll make that the first book. And more to come. So there's a lot more to come. Thank you. Way Too Cool. Hope you have an awesome evening. Thank you, all of you legends who stopped in. Really appreciate each of you. And we'll be back. We'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, everybody, and have a great night.